Hey, this is Big Sexy Kevin Nash. You listen to InYourHeadOnline.com, the only place to hear people like me tell it like it really is.
All right, and we are back here at InYourHeadOnline.com, and we have a huge guest with us. We have the Heartbreak Kid, future Hall of Famer, Shawn Michaels. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you all very much for having me.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome you coming on here. Now, just coming up, Hall of Fame class of 2011. What is that like to be inducted so soon after your retirement?
Obviously flattering. I mean, after hearing, I've mentioned it before, but after hearing Jim Ross, always say, oh, he's a first ballot Hall of Famer for sure. You start to, obviously when you finally are done, you start thinking like, holy cow, like if they don't put you in the Hall of Fame like right afterwards, does that mean? Does that mean that's not good? You know what I mean? Or you haven't lived up to. I don't even know what I mean. I don't know. I think that's what a first ballot Hall of Famer is that your first opportunity to get in, and obviously, if JR says so, gosh darn it, we better do it. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure if I actually earned it or if they felt pressured to do it. I'm not really sure. But either way, I'll take it.
Yeah, I think you definitely earned it. If you could choose, who would you like to induct you? And I don't know if you're aware who is going to induct you or not.
Well, that's been, that's obviously been the question. And I got to be honest. I mean, it's been hard, for me to narrow it down. I mean, for me, the naturals are, Triple H or Nash, and but then you think, well, gosh, well, it's hard for me to get out of the the performer mode and think like, well, gosh, would it be more interesting to have Brett do it or a Flair or something that, I don't know, something more out of the box, as they say. And, should I be more concerned about, whatever they call it, riveting TV or should I just, make it fun and, have my buddies do it. So, and that's obviously, I've been going back and forth about that because I don't know if I'm, if I'm allowed just to enjoy it just as a regular dude, or if I have to sort of still be Shawn Michaels, the showstopper, Mr. Wrestlemania, all that kind of junk. And, again, on one hand, that's obviously very flattering, but on the other hand, you sort of, one of the reasons you walk away is because, you're ready to stop being, that guy. And so I got to be honest, I haven't totally made the decision, and obviously I think I'm bothering, a lot of people, including the company, but by not giving them an answer just yet. But I'm certainly trying to. I mean, I feel like I've got it narrowed down to, to two guys, and and hopefully, obviously, I'll have to get it down to one, and I'll try to do that in a timely fashion. But I can tell you, I haven't done it yet.
Mm-hmm. Now, calling yourself Mr. WrestleMania, or people calling you Mr. WrestleMania and WrestleMania 27 coming up. Do you ever feel like, man, I wish I was on the card?
No, I mean, I got to be honest. I mean, it's it's sort of nice not having that. There, for the longest time, that was always a very enjoyable challenge or burden. Going in there and seeing if you could outdo the year you did before or past performances. But the older you get, the little tougher that gets. And it's the challenge. I don't know. I guess when it becomes more of a burden than it is a challenge, I mean, I think that's when you start to really examine it and decide whether you should still be doing it. And I got to tell you, I'm looking forward to not running around that day, and the days beforehand, nervous and anxious and ready to, I don't know. I'm not the picture of calm, before that day. I mean, I usually don't settle in until I actually get in the ring. I'm usually a bundle of nerves, extremely anxious, I start to phase out on my family, around Hall of Fame time, and just sort of go blank, and everybody sort of looks at me and says, okay, he's going into WrestleMania mode. We'll sort of leave him alone. And so, I mean, this year I'm looking forward to actually really getting to watch the event and really take in WrestleMania more as a fan than a person that's a part of the show. And heck, I haven't done that since I was, I don't know, ever. I don't think. Yeah. So again, I mean, I got to be honest. I mean, certainly this first time, it's an enjoyable experience, and I'm certainly not at this point missing the opportunity of being a part of the show.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of like being a bundle of nerves, how much how nervous were you? How much pressure was on you for your last match? I mean, you're following up the first Undertaker match, and it's your last match of your career, WrestleMania, maybe one of the last Undertaker's matches at WrestleMania. What was it like going into that?
Well, tighter than I've ever been. I mean, because that was really and that's sort of what really, I think solidified in my mind, why I thought it was time. Because as I mentioned earlier, I mean, I usually, once I get in there, I settle in and I do what I've done. But throughout that whole match, I mean, and maybe I shouldn't point this out, but heck, I do. I mean, I tell people to go back and look at the match, and you'll see I barely sweat. You know what I mean? I was so wound tight in that match. I don't even think my pores were open enough to, for my body to actually sweat, and that's just unlike I've ever been. I mean, I'm always wound up beforehand, but then I get in there, and just a piece comes over me, and I do, I just do what comes naturally, and it was a real chore for me. I really had to think a lot, which I don't usually have to do, and it was, like I said, I mean, I was thrilled with the way it went. I mean, it went phenomenal. I mean, I thought we did everything that we were supposed to do, and I think it followed the first one and all of that. But I wasn't as free flowing, I guess, as I usually am in there. And to me, that was sort of a red flag of saying, like, hey, dude, maybe it's time. It's getting to be effort. Because I mean, none of the other performances have ever really been. I mean, it's always hard. I mean, because the job is hard in and of itself. But everything always just sort of, just really flowed easy for me in there. And that one was a real effort, and I felt like that was a sign of maybe, it's time to, to wrap it up.
Mm-hmm. Now, let everybody know you got a big raffle going on here for WrestleMania 27, where everyone can win 2 tickets, all expense paid. The travel's up to $2,000 to WrestleMania 27, and you get all the information on the ShawnMichaels.com. It's only $2 per ticket. You have to get at least 5 tickets, and the money's going to charity, so it's for a good cause. And anything you'd like to say about that?
Yeah, well, no, obviously, I wanted to, obviously, raise money for Ronald McDonald House and Operation Homefront and CTO. That they're just, kids in the military are sort of 2 very important things in my life, and I hooked up with these charities, and I wanted to, it's something that I'd like to make a regular thing, and this was sort of the first one of what I hope to be, many WrestleMania raffles, and it's sort of tying in my past with what I hope to be my future, and doing what I can through the WWE to help out these charities, and wrestling and the WWE is what I've done for the majority of my life, and WrestleMania is a huge moment for not only the WWE but also the people that watch us all around the world, and I felt like that was the best gift I could give is a trip to our Super Bowl, and a chance to go to the Hall of Fame. And again, that was actually put in place long before I knew I was going to be inducted, which obviously this one makes it more special. But we hope to continue it in the future. And like you said, you can go to theshawnmichaels.com and you'll be a part of the raffle. And I don't know that it's a bonus, but you get to spend some time with me, hanging out with me. And, obviously, if you don't like me, you can opt out of that if you want. But, we were hoping that was going to add to it and, add to what's already going to be what we hope to be a phenomenal weekend and a phenomenal money-raising effort for these charities.
Mm-hmm. Inch, you got a question?
Yeah, I have a question. I was just wondering, what goes through your mind whenever guys like The Miz say to their old tag partner that they're going to be the next Marty Jannetty?
Well, to me, I think any references, to me and Marty, or, even when they're, that's what you do as a young guy. That's what I did. I mean, heck, you diss the guys that came before you, and you try to move yourself up on the ladder. And I don't know. I take that as a compliment. I think those things were obviously very pivotal things in not only our careers, but moments in those guys' lives as the fans they once were. So I don't know. I think it's always good. I mean, I enjoy it. I mean, when you come up with those ideas, you never think that they're going to be something that people will remember for 20 years. And, obviously when you step away from it, it finally gives you the opportunity to really take in and appreciate, all the different accomplishments. I mean, now that I'm away from it, and to see the effect that Marty and I had on a lot of people, and a lot of those people are grown men now, that were young kids at the time or teenagers, and the Rockers were my favorite tag team, and holy cow, their wrestling dreams or whatever were shattered at the breakup and things like that, and it was a pivotal moment in their lives. I mean, again, you always think you're just out there, doing what you love to do, but it's hard for you to take in that, like you're creating a moment that people will remember for a long time. So I always find it complimentary, and I think Marty does too. I mean, the times he and I have talked, I mean, he's always thought it was pretty cool, the stuff that we did, that we just sat around in the room trying to think of, new stuff and innovative stuff is something that sort of, had a really big effect on tag team wrestling. So, he and I always find it to be a positive reference.
Mm-hmm. When Hall and Ash went to WCW, was there ever any thought that you would go and join them, or did you know you wanted to stay in the WWE?
Well, yeah. I mean, I certainly went through some extremely down times. I mean, there was always a thought of like, oh, geez, I wish I was with my buddies, but
yeah.
I never know if people know it or not, but I mean, it's not like you can just leave. I mean, guys talk about it, and I always sort of chuckle about, people talking about, well, they're, maybe they're going to leave and go here, or maybe they're going to go back, and it isn't that easy. One, you got to be allowed to leave, because 9 times out of 10 you're under contract,
right.
And rarely are you allowed to, and if you are allowed to, it's because whichever company doesn't think you're bringing much to theirs, so they're okay with letting you go, and that's not always a positive thing either. So there were certain, certainly emotions that, heck, I just wanted to be around my buddies because it's more comfortable. But one, I couldn't have, and it wouldn't have been the right thing to do, and truly, my heart was always in the WWE. I was just in a pretty miserable place at the time and making everybody else around me miserable, and felt I'd be better served, not making myself miserable and everybody else around me miserable. So it was a thought, but it was never actually a realistic one. And I knew that, what I wanted to do was to be happy and successful in the WWE. And that obviously was a long time coming, but it did eventually come, and I'm thrilled that I was never allowed to leave or given the opportunity to leave, because obviously it would have been a big mistake. And truthfully, I would have been happy anywhere. Wouldn't matter where you stuck me at that point in my life. It wasn't where I was that was making me miserable. What was inside.
Mm-hmm. Venture, was there one good question from the board?
Yeah, Mrs. Big Red Machine, she wants to know, did you have any reservations about doing the tag team match with God at Backlash 2005, I believe it was?
Yeah, no, I mean, that was just so over the top silly that, and I guess that's the thing. I mean, there's always, and it's funny. I mean, I sort of get accused of a guy who wears his faith on his sleeve, but I always get asked about it. So it's not so much wearing it on my sleeve as it is me answering questions that come up. But no, I mean, it's funny. Obviously that's a big part of my life, but I when it's so over the top amusing and so over the top just nuts, I don't take offense to that kind of stuff. I mean, I honestly don't take that much offense to any stuff regarding my faith anyway, because it's pretty clear that stuff's going to come anyway, regardless whether it's about your faith. I mean, I get just so much flack from, or I did, from, people of my faith about the job I did. So, I mean, I've learned that there's absolutely no way to make everybody happy, because there's always going to be somebody criticizing you for your faith, criticizing for your, the line of work you're in, criticizing you for the kind of husband you are, criticizing you for the kind of father you are. There's always going to be a naysayer somewhere saying you ain't doing a good enough job. So, I don't. I got to be honest. I don't get too caught up in the things that I deem to be futile. You know what I mean? And most of that stuff is pretty futile. So I do a pretty good job of not giving it much thought. I thought it was, funny. I like to think God's got a sense of humor, for heaven's sakes. I mean, and if he doesn't, he sure as heck wouldn't have created us, because if you ask me, we're pretty amusing at times.
Yeah. Real quick, WrestleMania 27, Triple H Undertaker, is the streak going to come to an end?
I don't know. I mean, I don't think so, but I mean, always, it's one of those things I always say, like, all good things have to come to an end, I guess, but, I don't know, man. I figure if it didn't happen with me, it didn't get to happen. You know what I mean? I'm just, but I mean, I'm so far out of the loop now. I suppose it's possible, but I don't think so.
Mm-hmm. Again, ShawnMichaels.com. We have the link right on the website, so you can click right on there. You can just type it in. Yeah, WrestleMania 27 raffle. All the money's going to charity, so it's good for a good cause. Plus, you get to go to WrestleMania, great seats, and you get to meet Shawn Michaels. And like he said, if you don't want that part, you can tell him, get out of here, HBK. I just want to watch WrestleMania. But I would think any wrestling fan would want to meet Shawn Michaels.
Oh yeah, definitely.
At least for a short time.
Yeah. I think Intra and I are going to order some tickets here tonight.
Oh, very nice. Well, heck, I appreciate it. I do.
Thanks for coming on. It's been pretty awesome to get to talk to you.
Yeah, well, thank you guys so much, and appreciate you giving me the time. And obviously, thank you a great deal for helping out with the charity raffle.
Mm-hmm. And congratulations on the upcoming Hall of Fame. Do you have any idea where we're going to put the plaque?
No, did we get a plaque? I mean, I thought we got a ring. I think we get a ring.
Yeah, that's even better.
Yeah, I think we get the ring, and that's pretty cool. I'm not a big ring wearer. I mean, I guess I'll wear it in special occasions, but no, I'm actually pretty excited about the ring, and again, it's pretty cool. I mean, it's one of those things you can't possibly say no to. So I mean, I'll certainly take it, and I'll really enjoy it.
Cool. Thanks, man, for coming on.
Hey, yo, say hello to the bad guy, Scott Hall. In Your Head Online Radio.